What's up? Welcome to the Pixel Lab. This is Jordan Condell, and today we're going to talk about the wiggle expression and adding some shake to your camera. It's a little bit of a basic technique, so if you have used the wiggle expression, go ahead and skip this tutorial. Otherwise, stick around because this will blow your mind. This is an amazing technique, and it'll add a lot to your project. So before we get cranking, let's talk about a quick tip real fast. So if you look over here, this is kind of a mess. This is how not to organize a project. Say you get a project and all these comps are kind of ones that you don't need. All you need is this one, and you want to kind of organize everything, tidy it up. If you click on the comp that you want and then go to File, Reduce Project, it will delete everything and all the comps that are not highlighted, all the assets and the comps. So you have to hit OK, 61 items are deleted, OK, and now all you have is that comp and all the assets that were in that comp. So it's kind of a way if you want to consolidate some stuff and tidy up your project. There's your quick tip. Don't worry, that one's free. Let's head on over and get this camera to start shaking. So we're going to do that by adding a null object. This null object will be the wiggle that will drive our camera. To do that, we have to link our camera up to it with the pick whip. Now, on this wiggle expression, I'm going to show you a way that you can do it that doesn't really work as well. The wiggle expression is really simple. You hit P for the position, you'll hit your Option or Alt key and click on the position stopwatch. And that will open up this space where you put in your expression. The expression is simply wiggle, parentheses, and then you put in a number. This number will be how many times a second the camera will wiggle. So something like 15 times a second will be pretty dramatic. Then you do a comma, and then the second number is how many pixels to the left, to the right, up and down, how many pixels it will shake or move. So something like, I don't know, 60, that'll be pretty dramatic. So then we'll close the bracket or close it with parentheses, and then we'll click off, and now your wiggle is in place. So if we RAM preview this, you can see that the thing is shaking like crazy. That is not what we want. And the problem with this is that you can't keyframe it if you do it this way. And we want to keyframe it so that when this real text comes in and slams down, it shakes right there. We can keyframe it. So we're going to do it a different way that is very easy to adjust. So we'll delete this guy, click off. Over here in your effects and presets, type in slider, and you're going to find the slider control, and you'll take that and dump it on your wiggle. And that is the gold right there. So we're going to go ahead and hit P again. We'll alt click on the position. Go ahead and type wiggle again and the parentheses and that first number, comma. Now we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to close it with parentheses. Then we're going to hit the back button to where that number was, that 65 number was. And instead of typing it in, we're going to grab our pick whip of the expression and we're going to drag it up to the slider. So now that number that was in there, the 65, is driven by this slider up here. So if we put this to 65 and hit RAM preview, you can see that 65 is being affected. But what is nice is now we have a keyframe button, so we can keyframe this. So let's find the spot where real hits the ground right here, and we'll hit that. So we'll make a keyframe. If you hit U, your keyframes will be pulled up. So we'll back up a couple frames, and then we'll take this down to 0. So now it'll hit and turn to 65 shake, and then we'll go down a little ways, and we will turn that back down to 0. Now, it should look like gold. So check that out. That looks pretty dang good. Might be a little bit subtle, but you get the idea. Yeah, maybe a little bit subtle. Now that's easy enough to change. We can kick this up to 80 or something like that. So check that out. There you go. That looks really good. Okay, one other thing I want to show you real quick is instead of just using the wiggle expression to show like a big shake when something hits, another thing that I do sometimes is a little bit of a subtler effect where it kind of makes it feel like the camera's being handheld, so it's like a little bit floaty. Kind of hard to explain. I'll just show it to you. So if you take your wiggle expression that you've already set up and just hit Command D to duplicate it, we can call this one handheld. And if we go to the slider, what we'll want to do is put that one to maybe 15 or something like that. Hit U to pull up your effects and expressions. We don't want it to happen 15 times a second. That's way too much. So for a handheld feel, maybe go down to like 1 time a second. So 1 time a second, it'll be going 15 pixels. So we can go ahead and RAM preview that and see what it looks like. You know what? Nothing's happening. You know why that is? Because this null is not linked up to anything. It needs to eventually be linked up to the camera. The camera can't pick whip to it because it's already pick whipped to this layer. So what we do is take this layer and pick whip it to this layer. Then there's sort of a chain. This effect, or this null, is affecting this one, and this one is affecting the camera. So now if we hit RAM preview, we can see that, yep, there you go. So there's a little bit kind of a handheld feel. I'll go ahead and RAM preview a little bit further down the timeline so you can see it better. So there you go. There's the wiggle expression in After Effects, and man, if you didn't know about it, this is an amazing technique that will add a lot of realism to your project. And just kind of a word of caution is use it very subtly. There's a lot of stuff out there that uses it, you know, kind of like over the top, and it gets a little hokey. So a lot of the times the things that we add to our projects, the little tiny things, the subtle things, are the ones that add the most realism. So be careful with it, enjoy it, have fun. Next time I'm going to jump into Cinema and we'll show you how to add the shake and the wiggle to the camera in Cinema 4D a couple different ways. So check back for that, and yeah, we'll see you again real soon. Bye.